Every fall, something beautiful begins again. The colors return bold and proud. The band strikes up. The lights come on. The volume rises. And just like that, it ignites.
Goosebumps, baby. Goosebumps. This is why we love college football.
This is where stories unfold on 100 yards of open possibility.
What a catch! That is absolutely ridiculous. Wow, what a hit!
The chance, the chaos, heartbreak, and glory.
Don't want to hear no more talking. It's time!
This is college football.
It's game time, man!
And this is just the beginning.
Further options.
FX is The Lowdown, starring Ethan Hawke, premieres September 23rd on FX. Stream on Hulu.
Wake Forest will receive to begin the game.
We welcome you to ACC Network Football, presented by Dr. Pepper. We're in Deektown, where they're ready for Week 1. Wake Forest welcoming Kennesaw State in an ACC Conference USA matchup as the beginning of the Jake Dickert era is upon us. Alongside the former Notre Dame star Darius Walker, I'm Chucky Kemp. Well, ACC football is here. Wake Forest hoping this is the first steps toward reestablishing themselves in a conference with two top 10 teams and a big-time Week 1 slate.
Yeah, you got to be excited if you're an ACC fan. Everyone has big games this weekend. Clemson, Florida State, Miami on Sunday. All that pressure kind of trickles down to everyone else in the conference, including Wake Forest. We've got a new regime. I'm excited to see them compete today.
Almost 120 combined new players that we're going to talk about tonight between these two teams on a beautiful evening in Winston-Salem. Just over 80 degrees, a light wind, clear skies. Couldn't ask for more for Week 1. Jake Dickert, after 3 full seasons as the head coach at Washington State, takes over at Wake Forest. And his offense will take the field first. Britton Williams tees it up, and Chris Barnes, the electric freshman out of Houston, Texas, deep to return. The first ever meeting between these two programs, and we are underway in Week 1. Barnes 2 yards deep, will leave it there, and we check in with the third member of our team for the first time, Ashley Stroline.
Thanks, Chucky. Well, Robbie Ashford won the starting quarterback position for the Demon Deacs. He edged out Deshaun Purdy during camp. Head coach Jake Dickert told me before the game that the staff is really confident in their decision with starting Ashford, praising his toughness and competitiveness. Offensive coordinator Robbie Zell also told me that Ashford is one of the most explosive quarterbacks he's seen running with the ball in his hands. He said he's fast, he's tough, and a competitor. He also says Ashford throws the ball really well downfield. And now, guys, we're about to get a look at this new era, this new offense led by Ashford.
Fourth school from Hoover, Alabama. A redshirt senior, was at South Carolina last year, but his biggest contribution came in his first season at Auburn back in 2022. Gives it up this time, and a big play already down the sideline for the star of this offense, Damon Claiborne.
I can't wait to watch him compete today. He's going to get his number called early on. Gets to the outside. He flanks Marcus Patterson, the defensive end. Kennesaw State's looking for big things out of him today, but a good start for the Demon Deacons.
Claiborne plunging forward again for just a couple yards on 1st and 10. The Doak Walker Award preseason watch list. This is one of the best running backs in the country on display tonight. Shotgun for Ashford. That's Barnes in motion. Somebody we have been told to keep an eye on tonight. Has electric speed. Spent last year at Washington State, but redshirted.
He's the deep threat. He's the fast guy moving in motions at the top of the screen.
They're going to get it to him quickly in space. Here goes Barnes toward the sideline, showing off that speed for a first down gain.
Now, I'm not sure if they got Carlos Hernandez. Watch him on the outside, number 8. He's the one who lays the key block, but did they get him for a hold at the end of that?
Number 8, 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Looks like they did. That is unfortunate because they had so much momentum going over these first 2 plays in this series. And this is one of those things, Chucky, that happens with teams in the first game, first series, ticky-tacky stuff that shouldn't happen. You got to reel it in. There's a lot of excitement on both sides, but you hate to see that to stall the drive for Wake Forest.
And it comes from Hernandez, who was one of the big transfers that came with Jake Dickert from Washington State all the way across country to Wake Forest. Now 2nd and 14, Ashford throwing quick route outside to Hernandez, and he's going to be dragged down there by multiple bodies, led by 5 Hamilton.
Hamilton's coming in from his nickel position. Another one of those guys who's a redshirt sophomore.
Jake Dickert brought 3 of his coaches from Washington State, 9 players via the transfer portal. He said one of the first meetings they had, though, he said, I don't care where anybody's from, we are all Wake Forest guys now. 3rd and 9 for Ashford against a remade Kennesaw State defense. Another team that has fresh coaches across the board. Ashford using the legs this time, something Ashley talked about, and he's just short of a first down.
This is one of those luxuries, Chucky, when you have a running back like Damon Claiborne. He just gets so much attention when he is on the field. It's the play fake for Ashford that springs him to the outside, which brings up a 4th and short. Now they've brought in Jamario Clements, number 3, at running back. He's 5'11", 205 pounds, the 5th-year senior. Will they call his number?
They will. Clements dives ahead, and it looked like he might have had it, but this is close, and they will move the chains for a first down.
So our first look at Clemens gets his number called on 4th and short. Watch him get his pad level down at the point of attack. It was just enough to be able to pick up the first down. And he's going to remain out there right beside Ashford.
Clements from Duquesne joins a running back room that also has Tate Carney, who was their 2nd leading rusher from a year ago behind Claiborne.
On the field is a first down. It's under further review.
And we'll take a look at this, our first review of the night, just a few minutes into this game. Well, there's the new man on the other side of things, Jerry Mack, his first season as head coach, just the 2nd head coach in program history, Darius. This is a program that was born just 11 seasons ago, that was announced in 2013. They played their first game in 2015.
Hard to see from if he gets the line to gain there. But this is an exciting time for Kennesaw State. And speaking of running backs, we talked a lot about Claiborne. Mack was a running back coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, so he's got an NFL pedigree as well as the head coach for the Owls. They're excited to have him. And really a tough look there. I wonder if there's enough evidence to overturn the call on the field. But the ruling is a first down at this point.
We mentioned it off the top almost.
After further review, the ruling on the field has been upheld. It's first down.
Almost 120 combined new players on these 2 rosters. This is a big test for both of these teams early on. We've already seen some chaos in week 1.
Yeah, we certainly have, and it's really tough because both these coaches are really stand themselves on building culture, and it's so hard to do that when you're new at a place and you've got a bunch of new guys. So building that camaraderie and that chemistry has to happen so fast now in college football. That is not something I had to deal with at Notre Dame, Chuck.
Ty Clark was the back this time, and they get it out to Barnes again, and he is looking as advertised early in this game. Another first down.
An incredible job on the outside by Jeremiah Melvin. Watch 13 here. He's the one who's going to lay the key block to give Barnes some space on the outside. So that's 12. That's Jackson Mall. Good job blocking on the outside, allowing him to get upfield and pick up the first down.
Already 2 touches for Chris Barnes. That was somebody their offensive coordinator, Robbie Zell, was really excited about. Handoff. Clark, he breaks the tackle and finally knocked down after about a pickup of 4 yards. Stevens and Offord on the stop.
Defensively for Kennesaw State, they're really going to have to try to settle in and win this line of scrimmage battle. It is no surprise that Wake Forest wants to run the football and play fast. If you're Kennesaw State, you have to figure out how to settle down. I'm looking at Adam Watkins, number 97, and Tylon Dunlap, number 5, on the interior of this defensive line. Somebody needs to make a play.
That was one of their emphasis in the offseason. Get bigger on the offense and defensive line. Clark slashing through the hole and comes up about 2 yards short of a first down. Milan Jones on the stop. And already we've seen 3 running backs on this first drive. We've seen the redshirt freshman Barnes featured heavily.
This is another short yardage situation. We see Jamario Clemens, number 3, come in and spell Claiborne in these short yardage situations. He's in the game again, number 3 in the backfield.
So if they go to Clemens, they do. Tripped up, but able to push ahead just shy of the 25-yard line, and they'll move the chains again.
Nice job by George Sell here, the right guard, number 77. He's the one who's going to lead upfield and make a key block. Gives Clemens just enough space to pick up the first down. That excites me, Chucky. When I see those big body guys, 300 pounds, in frame, running, that excites me quite a bit. Love to see that offensive line play.
11 plays, 49 yards on this opening drive so far. Going outside this time, caught by Burkhalter. They gain about 6-7 yards on first down. You talked about the Wake Forest offensive line. 2 transfers from Washington State came over that started last year. It is an experienced group that they have put together, and they said, how do we utilize Claiborne most? Well, push people around up front.
And that's one of the things they promised him to get him to really commit to this school, to remain. They said they would invest around him. The first place you do that is on the offensive line.
Ashford getting out in space again. Falai, the tight end, tiptoeing, but he stepped out just shy of the 5-yard line. Any Falai thought he might have had the opening touchdown of this 2025 season.
What a wonderful job. He comes across this formation and is running to the outside. Nice job by Ashford of just throwing a nice touch pass, giving him a chance, and you see that foot stepping out of bounds. But right now, Wake Forest offensively is rolling.
Falai, a transfer from Utah Tech, had 31 grabs, 5 touchdowns there last season. Ashford in the shotgun. And again, it's Clements on the carry. He stopped around the 5-yard line. A minute since we've seen Damon Claiborne in this game.
It's a little bit surprising because initially we thought that Clemens was going to be the guy who was the short yardage back. It looks like Clemens coming out now. And they have brought Ty Clark in. Ty Clark is the smaller guy, 6 foot, 207 pounds. He's really the third down back. They call him Agent Zero.
Ashford, plenty of time, taking off. Ashford cuts upfield, and he's in for the touchdown. Robbie Ashford has found his new home and is off to a great start for Wake Forest.
Play by Ashford. Does he get in though? Is that elbow down before the ball gets over the goal line? Looks good to me from up here. But what a drive for Wake Forest to start this game.
Job done on the opening drive for Ashford. 14 plays, 75 yards, 7:02 off the clock to give Wake Forest the lead. Connor Calvert, transfer from Washington State. He was a walk-on last year when he redshirted there. He will handle the extra point. Kick is up and perfect down the middle. Wake Forest, a 7-0 lead thanks to Robbie Ashford, their new quarterback.
ACC Network College Football is presented by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing.
The Demon Deacons ready for the 2025 season, as was their head coach and quarterback, as scripted on that first drive. Robbie Ashford couldn't ask for much more.
And they're really excited about him. They've been high on him because of his poise and his decision-making as a fifth-year senior player. So they think that his experience is what made the difference for him in camp. I think it's showing itself here in that first drive in the first quarter for Wake Forest.
Caleb Carlson boots it away toward Cody Jones in the end zone, and he will bring it out about 4 yards deep, but it is whistled dead. He had signaled for a fair catch. Well, another quarterback getting a big opportunity here. Dexter Williams the second.
Let's see, did he show the fair catch? Always doing the T signal. Yeah, the T signal.
Which is new, that you can just toss the arms out to the side.
Yeah.
It was a little nonchalant, I would say, but
they were a little low, too. Arms were a little low. Here
is Dexter Williams the second, the redshirt senior from Macon, Georgia. This is his 10th career game. Spent 4 years at Indiana, had some injury issues there, then to Georgia Southern last year. The handoff up the middle is good for 5 yards to Coleman Bennett, but it's a big opportunity for Dexter Williams taking over this offense.
I think when you look around this offense, too, a lot of upperclassmen all the way across the board, including Williams.
There is no secret. They want to go quickly. Here goes Williams. Great athlete, knocked down at about the 42-yard line, but a nice pickup for first down.
Wow, he makes Nick Anderson, number 45, the safety who's coming down in run support. Made him look silly in the hole. Big pickup for the Owls.
Here's the tempo of that offense. Throw out wide by Williams, but Gabe Benyard couldn't stay on his feet. He'll actually lose a yard on that play. Second and 11. Coleman Bennett, the running back, to the right of Williams. Benyard in motion. Handoff to Bennett. Jukes outside. He's driven backwards. Dylan Hazen, the third-year starter, 84 tackles a season ago, makes the play.
Nice job coming upfield by Hazen here to get him down. 84 tackles last season, including 1 sack. He's a guy that Wake Forest leans on defense.
3rd and 10.
This is a situation for Dexter Williams. You don't want to take a sack here. Try to figure out how to get this football downfield and not hold the ball too long.
Fake the handoff. He was under pressure. It was a nice throw and catch. Benyard on the grab, who they think could be their top receiver. They'll go quickly. 1st and 10. Throwing across the middle. Benyard's a low throw. He had a lot of space there to make that grab.
Yeah, you wonder,
10.
A lot of time in these instances, this first quarter on the first drive early in the season, conditioning becomes an issue. I know it's still early, but when you're running fast like this and you're just not used to game play, sometimes you can get a little gassed. And I think that's what happened to Dexter Williams there on that throw. Not getting it up as much as he should have.
Jerry Mack, the Kennesaw State head coach, and his offensive coordinator, Mitch Militello, come from the Josh Heupel staff at Tennessee.
They play fast.
Williams rolling out, has some time here, throwing on a little crosser, and Benyard quickly becoming his favorite target. The redshirt senior out of Georgia.
Benyard is wide open on this. Christian Moss, also number 6 to the right of the screen, was open down the middle of the field. So Williams had his pick, but nice throw and catch from the wide receiver duo.
Play action. Benyard was held up downfield, so the dump off to Bullock, the tight end. They basically just get back to the line of scrimmage. Kennesaw State averaged just 136 passing yards per game last year. Their quarterback from a season ago, Davis Bryson, is now a wide receiver. You will see him out there tonight. A great athlete and wanted to stay at Kennesaw State, so he found a new role as Bennett plunges forward. for a few yards.
And let me tell you, Chucky, it's admirable for a guy to do that because that's really hard to do when you've played quarterback, when you've started with a team. To get asked to move to a different position the following year under a new staff takes a lot of maturity to stick around for that.
You have to think Williams, as a quarterback, kind of appreciates another QB out there that understands the offense. Handoff up the middle to Bennett, running to an arm tackle. Bennett staying on his feet. What a play by Coleman Bennett, the transfer from Rice. And the answer from Kennesaw State.
What a drive for the Owls. They march that football right down the field. And Coleman Bennett gets him to pay dirt in the end zone. That's how you answer in college football, ladies and gentlemen.
The extra point is hooked wide left by Britton Williams, but it was a response by Kennesaw State.
It sure was. Frank Cursuno, number 43. He's the guy for the Deacons who had a chance to get him down, couldn't do it, kept those legs churning. 6-7.
Week one underway. The new head coach at Kennesaw State, Jerry Mack, has to love the way his offense just responded. It was that fast-paced, up-tempo offense that he and Mitch Militello bring that worked to perfection going at this Wake Forest defense for the first time.
And no surprises. The run game is what was strong for them. Mack's a former running back coach in the NFL, so a position he knows well.
You know he was happy about that Coleman Bennett run to finish things off, breaking tackles. Chris Barnes from the 3-yard line. Barnes cuts upfield, makes one miss, trying to get to the sideline, and he's dragged down there at about the 32-yard line. Wake Forest and Robbie Ashford trying to respond on the other side. ACC Network college football lineup we have for you tomorrow. Pitt hosts Duquesne to kick it off at noon Eastern. Louisville, Eastern Kentucky at 3. Virginia, Coastal Carolina at 6. And we cap the day with Kevin Jennings and number 16 SMU hosting East Texas A&M at 9. Every game also available on the ESPN app so you can watch anywhere. Second drive for Wake Forest and Robbie Ashford in the shotgun. Wants to throw it out, and it was read perfectly defensively. Let's check in down on the sideline with Stroh for an update on Damon Claiborne.
Yeah, guys, right now he is not on the sideline with his teammates. He did go back to the locker room to get some additional medical treatment, but no word right now on what injury he is dealing with or if he will return to this game.
I mean, it's a big loss on offense for sure, but I think it's also a massive loss on leadership at the moment early in this game, trying to battle an answer from the score from the Owls. So hopefully we can get some more information on Claiborne, but if you would have told me at this stage of the game he'd only have 2 carries, I tell you were pretty crazy. They lean on him quite a bit, so him not being in action is a big deal at this moment.
Now it'll likely be a lot of Clements, who's the Duquesne transfer, first team All-NEC last season, so somebody with experience. But we know Damon Claiborne is one of the best in the conference. 3rd and 7 for Ashford. Under pressure now. Ashford dragged down from behind. Rod Daniels, the 6'2", 250-pound defensive lineman, making the play.
And Daniels does an incredible job of cutting upfield. He dominated JUCO in his career, transferred from Liberty last year. Makes a big play to get Ashford down. It seemed like in that moment, Chucky, that Ashford got a little bit confused at what he was seeing. He was slow going through his progressions. You got to make those reads faster so you can get upfield. Nice job by the Owls getting off the field on defense.
Cal Joseph didn't get that cleanly, and then it backspins just in front of the 35-yard line where Kennesaw State will take over for the second time.
And Chucky, just to go back to Claiborne and his presence, we saw early in the drives for them that him being in the backfield was just an attention grabber on defense. So you have to wonder for them moving forward now, they're going to have to change things up of what they're doing offensively for Wake Forest in order to try to get some production, not having Claiborne on the field.
We'll need some stops against Dexter Williams and company. This high-tempo offense was a problem on the first drive. Wake Forest defense, Darius, last year really struggled. They brought back some of their best players, but it's a group that's got to come together still.
And this feels like a good moment for the Owls to potentially take a shot coming out of it.
Williams hands it off. Bennett is really tough to bring down tonight. He broke a couple tackles on that touchdown run and ends up with about 4 yards there. There is Damon Claiborne. That is bad news for Wake Forest fans, seeing him with no pads, no jersey.
My goodness.
Long throw out wide. In space, the head lowered right there by Jordan Jackson. He's close to a first down.
Nice job by Purtney, number 3, the cornerback for Wake Forest, coming up and making a play in space. Brings up a 3rd and short. Expect Williams to potentially keep this in his hands.
Handoff, Bennett. And they are rolling again across the 50 to the 45 of the Demon Deacons.
J.T. Pennington, the right guard, number 65, made an incredible block to spring Bennett up to the second level.
Williams, he was looking for a shot there, but it was great coverage downfield by Trayvon West, and he ends up having to just throw it away. Give Wake Forest a chance to regroup for just a moment and catch a breath against this Jerry Mack offense. Second and 10 for Williams. Quick throw out wide to the 40-yard line, and reaching toward the first down is Lyndon Ravar, working on West there. End up with about 7 yards on the play, stepped out of bounds.
It's a nice job by Williams there, recognizing that Ravar had the splits on him. West was about 10 yards off. Nice job taking what the defense gives you for the senior quarterback.
Handoff up the middle, driven backward. Alexander Diggs on the carry. Was hit hard. Bryant, one of the Wake Forest players, in on the stop.
Frank Cassano, too, number 43, from that backer position, came in and made a play. Big fourth down situation. We have seen the Owls run it in this situation, but I suspect they may keep it in Dexter Williams' hands.
This is 4th and 2. Williams rolling out to his right. Pressure coming. Williams cutting it up, and he's not going to get there. Wake Forest defense holds and gives it back to Robbie Ashford. Cassano again.
A wonderful job on the edge there from Zach Watts, 94. He's the one who pushes this inside. Able to get up to the field and stop them. Cassano making another play, number 43, from his backer position. We've seen 43 fly around for the Demon Deacons right now. He's playing some good football.
Cassano, a transfer from Washington State, one of those 9 players that came with Jake Dickert. Ashford 5 for 6, 43 yards. He ran for the touchdown. I've not really seen him throw the ball downfield to this point. Toss play out to the right side. Good blocking by a couple receivers that way, and it's going to be a pickup of about 5 yards for Ty Clark III.
That's Annie, number 84, does a nice job from that tight end position, sealing the edge to allow him to get upfield and pick up some big yards. Would love to see Ashford be able to split out here, keep the football in his hands as a runner. We know he's dynamic and explosive.
2nd and 5. Ashford handing off again to Clark. Pushing forward toward the 45, just shy of it to bring up 3rd down.
That's Nawaha, number 55, the defensive end for the Owls, coming in and making a big play. And these are those really big moments in this game, 3rd down. If you had DeMond Claiborne, you just would be able to have an open playbook. Things are really limited when you don't have your star in the backfield. So the Demon Deacons are going to have to figure out something to jar some productivity here on offense without their star.
Just a small wrinkle in the plan for your opening game. If you're Jake Dickert, hard hit there, but it will be a 1st down for Ty Clark and company.
Now, this is what you like to see from Ty Clark, getting that shoulder level and that pad level down, running a guy over. Big time play from the backup running back, coming in and showing you why they call him Agent Zero.
That is the end of the first quarter.
But that'll do it here in the first quarter. Wake Forest 7-6. They've got the lead. We've got some really good football happening here on the ACC network. Keep it locked. We'll see you on the other side.
Well, Coach Mack down just 1 point after 1 quarter of play. What are the pros and cons you're taking away from your team's performance?
I love the way those guys are competing and playing hard. They did a great job on defense, stopping those guys on 3rd down, getting 3 and out. Got to come up with the extra point when we scored a touchdown. But as a whole, offensively, we continue to push the ball down the field. We're playing consistent. We just got to calm down in the game.
What's the key to get your guys to calm down just a little bit?
Just do our deal. We talk about it being all about us consistently all the time, and I think this is no different situation in the second quarter.
All right, Coach, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Darius, your review of that first quarter specifically for Kennesaw State.
I mean, I think for both sides, I've really been impressed with the offensive lines. Both offensive lines on both sides has been critical. Defense is needing to settle in. Nice job that last play, though, by Byron Hobson, number 44. He got to Ashford quick to get him out of bounds.
Pressure coming again, and that throw low and behind Chris Barnes. Pressure from Byron Hobson on the play.
That's 2 plays in a row. He has gotten to the quarterback quickly. And that's really the recipe on defense. If you're going to slow an offense down, is just put pressure on the quarterback. Make it uncomfortable for Robbie Ashford in the pocket. And this brings up the big 3rd down play here for the Demon Deacons. The guy they like to lean on is Chris Barnes. He's number 10. He's at the bottom of your screen.
Biggest play in this game was a 13-yard run from Damon Claiborne, who is now out. Ashford just got away from one, rolling to his left and looking for an option, trying to cut it upfield. He was tripped up initially by Hobson and then driven into the ground by Donovan Westmoreland.
Elijah Hill, number 56, is the one who gets the big pressure in the beginning. He gets his hands on Ashford to flank him out. And then it's just a foot race to the sideline. Ashford lucky to get back near the line of scrimmage. And another good job on defense by the Owls getting off the field. And it all started with getting pressure on the quarterback.
And we're hearing different names from the Owls, too, early in this game. That was one of the things their defensive coordinator, Mark Mattioli, told us. He likes their depth at every position this year, so they feel like they've got somewhere between 22 and 30 guys they can go to work with. Decent punt down inside the 10-yard line. And tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, the ACC Huddle Crew is in Clemson to get you ready for Week 1 college football schedule with a 2-hour pregame show. They'll have previews, highlight feature players, and interviews. It's also available on the ESPN app.
Now for the Owls here, Chucky, on the ground, Bennett has 40 yards, 6 carries for 40 yards, and that 19-yard touchdown. He has been able to have his way offensively with the football in his hands. Now they bring in Alexander Diggs, number 3 in the backfield, showing you they got some other guys who can carry the load.
They will fake the handoff to Diggs, and Williams showing off that athleticism. Long throw, caught down the sideline, dragged down, but it's a big play by Gabe Benyard, beating West on the coverage.
What a job by Dexter Williams here, getting out of the flank. Look at this, his shoulder was pulled, he gets upfield and throws that ball downfield. Nice job, nice heads-up play. That's a quarterback and a wide receiver that have worked on the scramble drill all offseason.
47 yards on the throw and catch by Williams and Benyard, which looks like a great marriage early in this season. Flag down on the play before the snap.
When you watch Benyard on film, you can tell he's a solid route runner. Now, he's had some injuries, especially last season, that slowed him down, but he looks fast, he looks explosive. They're excited about him.
Offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Lyndon Rivard jumped. How about this, Darius? Dexter Williams had thrown 68 career passes in his college career that spanned 4 years at Indiana, 1 last year at Georgia Southern, and here he is really carving up this Wake Forest defense right now.
It's one of those things, too, that just goes to show you in college football right now, the scouting departments are so critical in finding these diamond in the rough, these gems on all sides of the football, particularly a quarterback.
Diggs in motion for Williams, looking that way. Williams going to run it himself behind one of his big offensive linemen. He got him behind his center, Josiah Chenault, on the play, and Hazen finally brings him down.
Nice job recognizing here by Williams, but he didn't have anywhere to go with the football. He didn't hesitate, got upfield to pick up some positive yardage.
Williams Williams handoff to Diggs, who spun down at the 35-yard line, just shy of a first down. You talked about the scouting department for these teams, finding players, also preparing for games like this when you have almost 120 new players combined between the two teams, and trying to figure out the balance between watching film from these coaches' past organizations and where these players used to be.
Yeah, it's really hard to scout all the way around the board because you got new players, new coaches moving around. 43 returners for the Owls. That's 5th least in FBS. Remember, this is just their 2nd season in FBS at this level.
Williams had all the time in the world trying to throw a back shoulder to Lyndon Rivard, but Zamari Stevenson in coverage.
Had Gabriel Binyard wide open to the right of him. Just didn't see him. For some reason, he missed that. That's one of those ones where Dexter Williams is going to want to have that back because Binyard had a lot of green grass in front of him to make a play there.
Williams 7 for 10, 94 yards. This was a Wake Forest pass defense a year ago that was 126th in the country in yardage allowed. A 4-yard pickup on 2nd down. Quincy Bryant on the stop.
Brandon Best, the left guard that time. He's a transfer from Georgia Tech. Nice block for the big fella.
Handoff on 3rd down. Diggs diving forward, and they're going to move the chains here. Originally, it looked like he was short of the line to gain.
Kept those legs churning, though. Able to pick up that 1st down. Nice job by the Owls mixing it up on offense at the moment. Run pass, run pass.
Looking for the end zone in the corner, and it's good coverage again that time by Stevenson. Kennesaw State has been excellent on 3rd down. 5 for 6 today on 3rd.
And that all starts because you've got a quarterback who's just making the right decisions the majority of the time. So those 3rd downs can be contributed to Dexter Williams and what he's doing with making his decisions quick and fast. We haven't seen him get overly confused or hold the ball in the pocket.
Williams, one of 3 transfer quarterbacks brought in by Jerry Mack and his staff. Handoff to Diggs running left again. Getting behind those big bodies and picking up about 3 yards on 2nd down.
It's really the left side of this offensive line. Jadarius Lee, 56. Brandon Best, number 58, the left guard, in the center, Chenault. They all are moving their guys out of the way, giving creases for these running backs.
Third and 6. You're in a field goal range situation, but your kicker missed an extra point earlier in this game to tie the game. So maybe a decision coming up for Jerry Mack if they can't convert. Nearly perfect, though, on 3rd down. Williams, quick throw, batted down at the line. Smacked away by Tyler Walton.
Nice job of getting those hands up. The 6'5", 265-pound redshirt sophomore. They know he's a young guy. He's been developing, but that's what they coach you on defensive line. If you can't get to the quarterback in a situation like that, get your arms up. He's a big guy, able to get that hand up and knock the football down.
Another chance for Britton Williams from the left hash. It's going to be a 36-yard field goal. Missed the extra point to tie the game on their opening offensive drive. Williams, plenty of leg on this, but it is wide right, no good. And he is down on the turf.
We'll have to see what happened at the end of the play here.
Timeout on the field.
Timeout on the field after the missed field goal. Wake Forest takes over, up 1.
Welcome back in. This was right before the break. See Brenton Williams there. Looked like he might have pulled the hamstring after the kick and before the hit. Hopefully the young man is okay. He was able to walk off the field on his own. But you hate to see a guy go down like that. And problems in special teams so far for the Owls, the difference in this game for them.
The other kicker listed on the roster is a freshman, Daniel Kinney. Wake Forest goes to the ground on first down and gets 3 yards. Again, if you joined us late, the star running back Damon Claiborne, there he is back in the game actually, and now he's hobbling back to the sideline again. He didn't have his pads on 20 minutes ago.
And he just got the football. Not exactly sure what is going on with him, but that is not a good sign for the Demon Deacons.
Toss play to the right side for Clark this time. And he comes up a couple yards shy of a first down. But we saw Claiborne with a big play early, 13-yard gain, leaves the game, no pads on, and here he is back in and then hobbles off.
And I can't overstate this, Chucky. When you have a guy who is important to this offense, as Claiborne is, when he's not able to go, it just deflates everything. It deflates the energy on the sideline. It deflates the defense. He sets his presence, and his leadership is so crucial for this team.
Ashford rolling out, nowhere to throw it. Tries to sneak ahead toward the 30-yard line, which is the first down line, but he's going to be short. He actually stepped out a couple yards shy.
And that's the thing at this stage, Chucky. When you look at the sideline for Wake Forest, everyone is super chill right now. Everyone's super chill. There's no energy. I think part of that is because Claiborne is not in the game. His presence impacts everyone around him, including the sideline.
You can tell he is frustrated. Nobody wants to be out there more than the man with the C on his jersey right now. Stuck around with this new coaching staff after Dave Clawson departed after 11 seasons as the head coach. On 4th and 2, Wake Forest will punt it away. Spiraling kick just inside the 30-yard line where it's caught by Gabe Benyard. Flag on the play right by the catch. Was there contact? Maybe the question here.
Looked like some legs got tangled up a little bit there too. Maybe that's what they're looking at. Let's see if we can see it. See if we have a look. See him make the fair catch call there.
Hard to say if maybe the feet got tangled.
And that was Devin Cook, number 15, the redshirt freshman for the Demon Deacons. Maybe a shoestring thing? Hard to tell. Sometimes that turf monster will get you too. That has happened to me quite a bit back in the day.
There is no foul in the play. It's first down.
That's a good call. Looked like Benyard was kind of almost diving to make that catch. So Kennesaw State takes over at the 29-yard line when we return. Just a 1-point Wake Forest lead over Kennesaw State, 8:35 to play, and Dexter Williams and company getting the football back. Williams 7 for 12, 94 yards. He's ran for 24. Both of these quarterbacks have shown off their athleticism. Ashford had the rushing touchdown, but maybe advantage Williams so far.
They both have looked really good. I mean, both coaching staffs were high on both of these guys, and you have to remember, neither of them had a ton of experience coming into today. So it's exciting for both sides to see quarterbacks come out and play well early in this game. But what a difference a quarter makes, Chucky. When we first started this game in that first quarter, we thought this might be a high-scoring matchup with both sides going back and forth. The defenses have kind of settled in, and then the loss of Claiborne for Wake Forest might have been an issue. Wonder if Ash has seen anything on the sidelines down there.
1st and 10 for Williams. Claps the hands, and he will give it off. Wake Forest all over this. A loss of 2. Jaden Loving, the leader, getting to the running back.
Part of it, too, I think both offenses have sort of gotten safe with what they're calling. We have yet to see either side try to stretch the field, throw the football down the field to make a play. But it just seems like energy-wise on both sides, it's pretty low. Somebody needs a spark. Something needs to happen. That could be special teams. It could be offense or defense. But somebody needs to get life to both sides of these teams.
2nd and 12. Williams throwing this time. Great coverage on the outside. It was read the whole way by Karan Prunty. The North Carolina A&T transfer got his career off to a great start at Kansas back in 2020.
He goes back with Coach Jackson, too. And they always like to put him to the field. Matched up against Christian Moss this time. Nice job making a break on the ball, but a 3rd down and long here for the Owls. They've got to give Williams some opportunity to throw the football down the field. We've yet to really see him air it out.
3rd and 12. Williams pressure coming, going over the middle. Tipped! Nearly taken away. The wag of the finger by Nick Anderson, the top returner on this Wake Forest defense.
Now watch 52 here, Dallas. He's the one who's going to come in and cause that pressure and push at the end of that play. But a nice job by the Deacons in space in that secondary. And Nick Anderson getting his hand on the football. He is the captain of this defense. And the captain, one of the captains on the team, was an all-ACC player. Everybody looks up to him. It's nice to see her Alpha make a play on defense. Maybe that's the spark that the Deacons needed.
Anderson had 122 tackles last season. That was 7th most in the country. Kick is going to land at the 39 and take a Kennesaw State bounce all the way down toward the 26-yard line where Wake Forest takes over. 7:31 to play in the first half. Demon Deacons need to get the offense going. Some notable college football playoff changes in year 2 of the 12-team playoff, going to that straight seeding model. So no automatic buys for conference champions. Top 5 conference champs are still guaranteed a spot in the playoff. And then record strength and enhanced strength of schedule. When you talk about those and you look at the ACC in week 1, they play 5 non-conference AP top 25 opponents this week. That's the most by the ACC in league history in week 1.
And that's one of the changes I love most, is respect that strength of schedule.
Delay of game. Defense. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
The Owls get the delay of game. But making sure that you're rewarding teams when they schedule those tough games. The question I have, though, is the weaker team element of it. Because beginning of the season, a team may seem weak, and then they get better towards the season. So, like, that weighing, I think, can get a little complicated. But I appreciate the changes. I think it makes sense to me.
Ashford throwing for Wake Forest out wide. Nice grab and a couple broken tackles here down the sideline for Carlos Hernandez, the Washington State transfer.
One of the things the staff told us about Hernandez is that he's so shifty. He's one of the shiftiest wide receivers they have on their team. Showing you some of that shiftiness there. Making a couple of guys miss, picking up the first down.
Started 6 of his 8 games he played last year in Pullman. Almost 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Ashford looking, using his legs now to get outside. A body waiting to chase him out of bounds. It was Westmoreland.
Wonderful job by Jericho Washington Jr., number 1, the corner. He was not fooled by the double move there. Did a nice job of staying on his guy, which left nowhere for Ashford to go with the football. Talk about a season he had as his freshman year last year. Second team All-Conference USA, All-Freshman team Conference USA as well. He is a dynamic shutdown corner.
Couple picks and forced 3 fumbles. That ball's dropped out in the flat. Jamario Clements trying to get him in space on 2nd and 12. It's going to bring up 3rd and long.
And we said this on the other side with Dexter Williams, but kind of the same story for Roddy Ashford. Not really giving him a whole lot of opportunities to throw the football down the field.
What's going through Jake Dickert's mind in his opener as head coach at Wake Forest? Up just 1 point after a great opening drive offensively to get them on the board. This unit is stalled.
Yeah, they were really clicking. I'm looking at Sterling Burkhalter, number 4. He's at the top of the screen.
The option play with Ashford spinning is Clark to break a tackle, but he's hit hard, and a late flag comes in as a helmet flies off in the play as well.
Still a little bit of a surprising call there. Looks like they're going to get holding on the Deacons. Let's see if we don't have a shot of this here for the right side there.
Holding. Offense, number 70. That's penalty's decline. Result of the play. It's 4th down.
We got Devin there for that hold. I'm still scratching my head on the play call there. 3rd and long to run the option play. They really, at this stage, are not trusting Ashford's ability to throw the football down the field deep. We just haven't seen enough of it.
And they've seen too much of Cal Joseph for Deacon fans. 4th and 9, and the punting unit once again. Joseph down just inside the 25-yard line with a lot of traffic. Ben Yard fair catches it there. And we'll see the Owls offense with 6:01 to play. Our first ACC Network women's soccer and volleyball matches of the fall season are Thursday night. Number 13 Virginia against number 9 Penn State at Klockner Stadium. Coverage begins at 6 Eastern. Then 8-7 Central. 10th ranked SMU hosting Washington. The Mustangs home opener on the hardwood at Moody Coliseum. Should be a great night. Both games also available streaming on the all-new ESPN app.
Chucky, I've been getting a little bit more into volleyball.
Okay.
It's a fun sport to watch. I like it.
I was going to ask if you played any soccer growing up.
Oh, yeah. No, I did not get into the soccer game. No. Trying to get my 7-year-old into it.
All right.
He has no interest, unfortunately.
Keep working. Still early.
Still time.
Into the empty backfield. The flag comes flying.
Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
It's the big right tackle, Nikola Milovac. the Serbian right tackle and the returning starter. Their offensive coordinator, Mitch Militello, said he is their big-time people mover on the field, a physical presence on the O-line. Penalty makes it 1st and 15. It's the running back Bennett going out to the right side. A wide throw by Williams, looking the way of Ravar.
Yeah, I think the story for me right now for both offenses, Chucky, is there's a lack of creativity in trying to create space for your stars. One of the guys that Wake Forest talked a lot about was Barnes, figuring out ways to be able to get him involved on their side. And then on the other side for Kennesaw State, as we have some stuff flying into the booth here. But for Kennesaw State, figuring out a way to get Binyard, figuring out a way to get the studs on the offensive side of the ball in their hands with space.
Bennett tripped up by Stevenson. It's going to bring up 3rd and long. Williams has missed his last 6 passes. Clock ticking down toward 5.5 to play in the first half. We had 2 quick scores on the first possessions for each of these teams, had a touchdown for each and nothing since. Kennesaw State has been the closest with the missed field goal.
First charge timeout, Wake Forest. It'll be 30 seconds.
Wake Forest didn't like something. Halftime's going to be interesting to see how these two teams come out of the break, what kind of adjustments we see now that there's a little film on these two teams now with their new looks.
That is one of the interesting things. You come into a lot of these games not knowing what you're going to see. Right now, offensively, for both teams, after those first drives, been unable to get any kind of productivity there.
Wake Forest, one of a number of ACC teams opening the weekend on 5 straight days of college football. Georgia Tech, Colorado tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN. How about LSU, Clemson, Notre Dame, Miami? There's some big-time games. And then Monday night, Bill Belichick's debut as the North Carolina head coach hosting TCU.
Gotta love ACC football.
There's a lot of excitement surrounding this conference in 2025. Williams in trouble, a ton of pressure there. He's driven into the ground by Quincy Bryant, and a late flag comes out. And this is going to cost Wake Forest.
Yeah, you wonder if this is roughing the passer there. It's in that area. Nice job by Bryant getting in and getting the quarterback down. See if we can't take another look and get the call.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense in the 9. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I mean, it's really hard, Chucky, for a guy who's large, a big man at 6 foot, 228 pounds, to just slow himself down after he's already launched himself and the ball is gone. It's really tough for these student athletes to figure that out in some of these moments. You almost got to have some grace with some of these plays and watching it play out. I know it's tough for officials to see it real time, but that was a little bit of a head scratcher to me.
Yeah, maybe the body weight from Bryant falling on the quarterback. They do get Binyard outside this time, and it's a good pickup of 8 yards on first down, and that's who you talked about, getting him the football more.
And I like the idea. Get him the ball with space, headed towards the outside, allow him to make a guy miss or two to pick up some positive yards.
Handoff up the middle, first down for Kennesaw State. Just ticked under 5 minutes to play in the first half. What a statement this could be for the Owls if they can go down and score on this possession. Williams, clean pocket, deep ball down the sideline. Some legs got tangled up, again looking the way of Lyndon Ravar. Rashad Williams in coverage, the transfer from North Alabama.
I love the call there, though, getting the ball downfield, trying to make a play. Now, one of the things that the staff has told us about Dexter Williams is he's a really electric runner as well. Sometimes in these instances, after a big pass play, you can call the quarterback's number and a QB draw to give him an opportunity to make a play. But they're in desperate need of a spark on offense.
2nd and 10. This drive kept alive by the roughing the passer call. They swing it out to Bennett, and there's black jerseys everywhere to make the play right at midfield. Langston Hardy, Aiden Hall, a couple of them. 3rd and 9 at midfield. Bennett in motion. Fakes the handoff. Pressure coming, and Williams grounds it at the feet of Bennett. Zach Lohavichin.
Nice job by the backer there, Aiden Hall, number 21, getting upfield and disrupting that play. Dave Williams nowhere to go as a runner. Brings up a big 4th down here. Looks like the punt team's coming out for the Owls.
Biggest bright spot for Wake Forest after Kennesaw State drove down and scored that touchdown is that the defense, who we mentioned was one of the bottom units in the ACC a season ago, has really shored things up. Just 1 completion allowed by Williams in the last 8 throws. Spiraling kick that lands inside the 10. Big bounce, and is it saved? It was. No, it was not. Touchback. The foot touched in the end zone before he released the ball.
That's Devon Lawson, number 17. He's the one trying to get this football. Oh, it's hard to see. What a nice effort there. Let's go down to Ashley.
Well, guys, new head coach Jake Dickert is all about establishing new tradition and a new culture here for the Demon Deacs football program. But one tradition that remains, that is the Deacon Dash. Before tonight's game, the class of 29 had the opportunity to rush the field. It's something that the crowd was cheering on. Current students in the student section were cheering them on. It allows them to create that camaraderie with their new classmates.
The Deacon Dash, a great week 1 tradition here at Wake Forest. As the Demon Deacons have the football again. Couple broken tackles here. Clark bouncing off of them. Something else that Jake Dickert really preaches is energy. He's a big energy guy, and one of the things we've seen in this game, and you talked about it, Damon Claiborne exiting with the injury has really kind of seemed to deflate them after a 14-play, 75-yard first drive and a touchdown. 4 punts since then.
And it really has been his presence. Since he exited the game, it just has changed everything for them on offense.
Ashford running. Dives ahead for 2 yards, and again in a 3rd down situation. Kelly and Hobson stopping him.
At some point, you have to wonder for both of these offenses when you don't just stop and start to huddle, because you have to give yourself a chance to make sure you've got the right play, make sure you're designing it accurately. I know both teams want to go fast, but when it's not working, you got to pause a little bit and give yourself a chance to get the right play in.
Especially with all the new faces on these units. Ashford on 3rd and 4. Quick route outside. They got a first down at the 35-yard line. Caught by Burkhalter, the Cincinnati transfer.
The Owls have been giving this up on the outside. The cushion that the quarterbacks are having on these wide receivers are pretty deep. So those stop routes, those 6 or 7-yard stop routes are open for the Deacons. Finally taking advantage of it there. Nice pickup for the first down.
Have not seen a lot of Chris Barnes with the football either. Just 3 targets in this game, and those were all early. Ashford rolling, and a nice catch. Eni Falai was hit immediately after making the grab, but they moved the chains again.
A nice job by Ashford of just getting this football upfield. He saw the crease in the opening, threw it right away, and Eni able to hang on to the football.
Ethan Tooks trying to jar it loose, the Alabama State transfer. 1st and 10 on the Kennesaw State side of the field for the Demon Deacons.
A lot of new jerseys coming in for the Owls here.
And maybe a blitz coming off the edge by Cody Jones, but we have reached the 2-minute timeout. Wake Forest in a battle in their home opener, 7-6 over the Owls of Kennesaw State.
Offense, number 8, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down. This is the 2-minute timeout.
Welcome back to ACC Network Football, presented by Dr. Pepper. We've got a battle in Winston-Salem at the Legacy Federal Credit Union Stadium. The Demon Deacons opening their season against Kennesaw State in just their second year as an FBS program. The big story in this one, Damon Claiborne leaving early with an injury. Their 1,000-yard rusher from a season ago and one of the ACC's best running backs. Have not seen him in this second quarter. Robbie Ashford making his debut at quarterback, making a man miss and running through a Kennesaw State tackler.
Now, this isn't something you really want your quarterback to do, to lower that shoulder, but I think this might be the spark that the Demon Deacons are looking for. Ashford gets upfield and then decides to lower that shoulder and lower that boom on Antonio Stevens. Nice job, nice run by the quarterback. Can this give them some life on offense, some energy on offense?
Ashford throwing it out wide. Nice grab out there in the flats by Clark, but there is a flag on the play. Likely going to come back, potentially holding against Micah Mays.
Let's look on the outside here. Yeah, Mays. Again, another one of those.
Offense. Two players in motion and not set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
I feel a little bit better about that versus the hold there on the outside there. Two guys in motion. But Chuck, you have to understand, this is something that really stalls a drive, or penalties, like stuff that shouldn't be in place, but it's week one, you expected some, but they had some momentum going with the big run from Ashford, the big pickup. Penalties can stall drives.
Empty backfield for Robbie Ashford. His fourth school, spent last year at South Carolina, played in just 8 games through just 32 passes. Ashford on the run again, and he slides down with white jerseys converging on him.
And we spoke to Coach Dickert. One of the things he talked about with Ashford was that he's got those elite traits. So Dickert is used to seeing elite quarterbacks. He coached Cam Ward.
First short timeout. Kennesaw State. It'll be 30 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 16 seconds.
As the Owls take a timeout, but he coached Cam Ward, so he knows what elite quarterbacks look like. He was at Wyoming under Josh Allen. He saw Josh Allen compete. He said that Robbie Ashford has some of those elite traits with that explosiveness and those deep throws. We saw it some in the first series. We haven't really seen him allow him to open it up, though, here in the second quarter.
Ashford's new offensive coordinator, Robbie Zell, joins the staff from South Alabama. It was somebody that Jake Dickert actually called to come to Pullman, but is Zell a guy who grew up in Alabama, went to Alabama, coached there as well, said, probably not the move for me. So Dickert gets the job at Wake Forest, calls again, and Zell said, yep, I'm listening now. Working with Robbie Ashford. Awkward play, free play for Ashford, throwing outside, incomplete. There was movement on the Kennesaw State side of the line.
Offside. Defense, number 14. 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
How much of the growth that you're going to see from these teams has to come from game day?
It really changes things. When you've been in practice and you've been in camp all the time, there's nothing like live action. There's nothing like gameplay. The point is, in moments like this, who steps up to take us out of this? Sometimes that's one player. Sometimes you just need one guy to make a difference.
Clements the back with Ashford on 3rd and 6. Handoff to Clements, and he's going nowhere. Second time we've seen them go to the ground on 3rd and medium. Caleb Offord ran him down. Let's show you how we got to this point so far with just over 60 seconds left in the first half. First quarter, Damon Claiborne, no pads on. He would actually come back in for one play and then exit again. Wake Forest still able to take the early lead thanks to Robbie Ashford with his legs, but it was a fantastic response. Coleman Bennett with a powerful run for Kennesaw State.
Yeah, 19 yards, made 2 guys miss, broke a couple of arm tackles and took it to the house. And then this was the first of 2 missed kicks for the Owls. First it was the missed extra point and then the missed field goal as well. So the special teams has really been the difference for Kennesaw State, while Claiborne being out is the story. for the Demon Deacons.
And the big question, and something to keep an eye on as this game stays close and we move toward the second half, is the kicker Britton Williams for Kennesaw State, who exited injured, as you talked about. The only other place kicker on the roster listed is Daniel Kenny, a true freshman. 4th and 6 for Wake Forest near midfield, and flags thrown.
Looks like they got Clinton Richard there, the left guard.
Start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Now you wonder if that changes things and they bring the punt crew on. Looks like they will. Penalties for that drive. We saw Ashford with the big run, set things up. There was a pass play next that got them some yardage, some positive yardage, and then it was a holding call, 2 men in motion call, and then offsides, false start. Not the way you want to compete for Wake Forest.
Joseph, a lot of hang time on this kick. Fair caught at the 17-yard line with 1:03 to play in the first half. Kennesaw State has 1 timeout to work with. We'll see how aggressive they are here with Dexter Williams at quarterback.
Now, Chucky, I know we talked a lot about Claiborne coming into this game, but the offensive statistics right now, especially rushing the ball, Kennesaw State has 98 yards rushing while Wake Forest has 76. If you would have told me going into halftime almost that Wake Forest would not have as many rushing yards as the Owls, I tell you, you're pretty crazy, but that's where we are today, and the difference being that Desmond Claiborne is out.
Kennesaw State lost their top 2 rushers from a season ago, brought in a couple transfers, and Coleman Bennett looks like the lead guy who spent last season at Rice. Williams tucks it, bounces off one, and the quarterback taking some big hits out there, and he's driven into the turf by Frank Cassano.
R.J. Taylor there, the defensive end. Coming up, making a play.
Kennesaw State not in a huge hurry right now. Under 40 seconds. Williams plenty of time here as he rolls outside. And he's going to run out of bounds after about 6 yards. Do you think maybe he was going to try and flip that downfield?
Little Patrick Mahomes style. Like he might have wanted it. This is one of those situations where you don't want to make a mistake here. If you're Dexter Williams, you don't need a fumble or an interception, turn the football over. Live to fight another day in this moment.
Diggs in motion. Williams is looking deep downfield and then out toward Diggs. Into the turf to make it 4th and 3.
And to me, going back to that timeout point, it looks like both offenses are tired. It looks like both teams on the offensive side of the ball are just gassed. I think it's because they're running fast. You can do all the conditioning that you want in the offseason, in the summer, preseason, everything. But when you get in live games, sometimes you just got to pause and adjust what you're trying to do to give your athletes a chance to catch up. Because this, you have to remember, this is week 1, the first game, first live action. Give the kids a break and settle in some.
I think if I would have asked you after the first 10 minutes of this game if it'd be 7-6 at halftime, you'd have said absolutely not. This punt almost blocked. That might have been tipped even, as it's going to go out on the Kennesaw State side of the 50. And this is interesting with 19 seconds left. There is a flag on the field. Depending on this penalty, this could be really good field position for Wake Forest to maybe try and get a field goal here.
Let's see if we got a hand on the ball, though. That did look like it got tipped a bit.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 22. 10-yard penalty will be enforced into the kick. 1st down.
Let's see if a hand on this to the right of the screen there.
Just off the side of the foot from Hewitt.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Did not look like he got a hand on the ball.
Cassano flying in there, the linebacker from Granite Bay, California. A 10-yard penalty takes Wake Forest back to their own 40-yard line. with just the 19 seconds to work with. Ashford 8 of 11 for 81 yards, but he's been sacked 4 times. They will throw it. Ashford looking downfield, has a man toward the sideline. It was a high throw to Tykeem Wallace. That would have been a big play.
And this is one of those that Dexter Williams is going to want to have back because he is wide open coming across the field here. And look at that throw, wide open. Got to settle down and get your feet under you to make that throw.
And it was Carlos Hernandez, the intended target for Ashford. 2nd and 10. Pressure coming. Dunlap forces him out of the pocket. Williams directing traffic. Tipped and it's caught. Burkhalter reached down to make the catch, and the timeout called by Wake Forest, their 2nd of the half.
Nice heads-up play by Burkhalter here to catch this. Antonio Stevens, number 3.
Wake Forest. It will be 30 seconds.
He gets his hand on the football there, but Burkhalter still has the wherewithal to be able to pick that up off the tip. Got that hand on it, moved that ball, but still able to show you that concentration and catch it. One of the things they always tell defenders, Chucky, is when you got a chance to get your hand on the football, swipe down. That's the coaching point. Try to swipe the football down so it doesn't get popped up into the air. But a nice job by Burkhalter to catch that. Setting themselves up to try to get into field goal range here to close out the half.
Seven seconds and 1 timeout for Wake Forest. At the Owls' 42-yard line. Falai in motion. Ashford looking to the quick out, and Falai steps forward to the 38-yard line with just 4 seconds to go. And now will they give the redshirt freshman an opportunity? This would be a 55-yard field goal attempt. Calvert, a redshirt freshman from Bend, Oregon, walked on at Washington State a season ago. It'll be from 54 yards for his first career field goal attempt.
Kennesaw State. Maybe 30 seconds.
Gonna ice him a little bit here.
What a moment this could be for your first ever collegiate kick.
Yeah, no pressure at all. Just the game on the line. I think no big deal.
The holder is the receiver, Sawyer Racanelli. Will Cobb snaps it. Calvert ready again from the right hash and 54 yards. Holds there. Kick is blocked toward the sideline, and that's how the half will end. Kennesaw State denies the attempt by Calvert.
Wow, Kennesaw State keeps showing up. They just keep responding. Let's see who gets a hand on the ball. Multiple white shirts in there. That's a low kick.
Adam Watkins, the redshirt senior from Georgia.
Yeah, you see 97. He's the guy. He gets that big push up front, that left hand in the air to knock the football down. And sometimes in these close matchups, Chucky, we're seeing that special teams can be the difference in the ballgame.
7-6 Wake Forest over Kennesaw State at halftime. Let's send it to the ACC Network studio. Kelsey, Tom, and Mark.
Competing with law officers in a game of punt, pass, and kick. Let's watch.
6 in the favor of the Demon Deacons. We'll be right back after these messages.
Pressure on you now.
Welcome back to ACC Network Football, presented by Dr. Pepper. In Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Kennesaw State looking for their third ever win over an FBS opponent, looking to spoil the party in Jake Dickert's debut as Wake Forest head coach. Here's the yardages so far, and one of the big numbers to look at is penalties. 4 for 20 for Kennesaw State, but 6 penalties for 50 yards for Wake Forest really hindered them, especially late in the first half.
an absolute issue for them on the penalty side. Now, you expect this some in week one. You expect things to settle down. The key here is halftime adjustments. Who makes the adjustments? But the one thing I want to see, Chucky, from both sides offensively is a bit more effort, a bit more energy as it relates to their presence and what they're doing on the football field.
Caleb Carlson tees it up. We are underway in the second half, and this will be a touchback. Let's check in with Ashley.
Well, I spoke with Wake Forest head coach Jake Dickert at halftime. He told me that Damon Claiborne is out for the remainder of this game, and he is looking for his team to step up and respond in his absence. He said the message to his players at halftime was to simply take a breath, reset. He wanted to remind his team this is a 60-minute ball game, and you can't do it all in the first half, guys.
Long season, you bring in 34 transfers, 25 freshmen, an entirely new coaching staff. Might take some teams a second to get their footing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, too. It's just being able to adjust on the fly and asking all these new players to huddle together and band together quickly. Not easy to do.
Handoff going outside as Bennett is dragged down from behind. Dylan Hazen tracking him down. He just gets back to the line of scrimmage, back to that pace and that offense for Kennesaw State. We saw it from both teams in the first half, although little success.
We've been seeing both defenses adjust and make plays in space. Hazen that time able to get him down, solo tackle. That's really been the difference for both defenses after those first drives. Guys settling in and making tackles in space.
Run up the middle for about 3 yards where Aiden Hall makes the play. 8 punts in the first half, 10 penalties. We didn't have any turnovers. Not a lot of big plays for either of these teams. One of the biggest was on the very first Wake Forest drive, a 13-yard run for Damon Claiborne.
You see Bernyard in motion there, number 1 at the top of the screen.
On a wheel route. Williams looking toward Benyard, now going to take off, and he's got the first down. Great work by Dexter Williams.
Nice heads-up play by Williams to extend this drive. He sees he's got nothing on the outside. They wanted to hit Benyard on that wheel route to the outside. It wasn't open. Nice job tucking and run, picking up the first down.
It's been an injury-ridden career for Dexter Williams. Couple pretty sizable knee injuries in his time at Indiana. Last year at Georgia Southern saw limited action. Handoff to Bennett, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Newer got Kuth making the play.
You have to remember for Williams here, too, this is his 5th year. He's a 5th-year senior. This is it. This is his opportunity where he's finally healthy. He's got a chance to take the reins out of a program that's trying to rebuild. So what a luxury and an opportunity that this young man has to compete at a high level for a team that wants to win, that's invested to win with the new staff.
New head coach Jerry Mack said this program is on the rise. They are building things in a hurry. Pickup of about 5 on second down. Jerry Mack, when he was at Tennessee, he and his offensive coordinator Mitch Militello, after they won the Orange Bowl in 2022, they're at the after party. Jerry Mack went up to Mitch Militello and said, "I'm going to be a head coach soon. You're going to be my offensive coordinator." And here they are about 3.5 years later.
My question is, how come we didn't get an invite to the after party? What's happening here?
Handoff up the middle on third down, and Bennett breaking through again to move the chains. He has been really impressive.
He's really hard to bring down, but a lot of it is because his center of gravity. He does a good job on the point of attack of getting his pads low so that when he absorbs a hit, he can still keep his feet moving and keep his balance. Excellent job by the back.
Williams looking downfield. What a throw to Benyard. Inside the 25-yard line.
Boy, Frank Casano, number 43, the backer, was trying to back out of there to knock this football down right over his outstretched arms. Williams was able to deliver that pass. Big pickup for the Owls.
Pressure coming from the backside, throw to the end zone, and incomplete. Ends up being into double coverage. Prunty and Anderson there.
Good job by Prunty coming over. He's number 3 from the safety position. He'll be to the right of the screen here, but he's going to come over and help. Make sure that he doesn't catch the football. Good job by the safety.
finish, and Moss will get a chance to take a breather after he was the intended target. 2nd and 10 from the Wake Forest 24-yard line. LeVar in motion, leaves Benyard at the bottom of the screen alone. Williams rolling out, now looking downfield. Great coverage there and a big hit after the incomplete pass. Quincy Bryant.
Bryant's going to come up and just play lights out here, breaking towards the football. It's actually a good job by LeVar, not allowing himself to get lit up there, just protect himself a little bit by keeping his eyes downfield, but another big play. And this is a massive 3rd down here for the Owls as they're driving down the field. Find Gabe Benyard, number 1. He's usually the guy they try to lean on in these moments. He's at the top of the screen.
Williams on the handoff again, trying to get outside, a broken tackle, and tiptoeing down the sideline is Diggs, who is close to a 1st down, and they will move the chains.
Both of these running backs, Coleman Bennett and Alexander Diggs, are doing an excellent job of breaking tackles and keeping those pads low at the point of attack. I love to see it. Able to pick up a 1st down and give themselves a chance to get this football into the end zone.
Getting it done for Jerry Mack, who was in Jacksonville last year as the running backs coach, working with Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne.
Not bad company.
Not bad at all. Fake handoff from Williams, who is tackled at the line of scrimmage. Langston Hardy, one of the Wake Forest defenders there.
You have to understand, too, as a running back, potentially, when your head coach has NFL experience and he can tell you about what guys at the next level are doing, it's just so helpful for your preparation, for your confidence, for your ability to be able to play. Being able to lean on that knowledge is huge and a difference maker for these running backs for the Owls.
2nd and 10. This is big for Kennesaw State. We saw their starting kicker, Britton Williams, exit the game. Kind of hobble off after a missed field goal in the 1st half. We saw him warming up at halftime, but still a question mark if he will kick in this game when it comes down to it, or if it could potentially be the true freshman, Daniel Kinney.
We've seen special teams be a problem on both sides, not only for the Owls with the 2 missed kicks. Wake Forest had their field goal attempt blocked, so special teams being the difference in this game right now.
3rd and 7, 3 receivers to the right of Williams. Looking on a quick out route there, and a one-handed grab is incomplete.
Moving on the field is an incomplete pass. It's 4th down.
Would have been a loss on the play. Rushawn Tung was there immediately with Benyard. And here comes the field goal unit onto the field, and it will be the true freshman, Daniel Kinney. From the left hash, his 1st career attempt from Knoxville, Tennessee, and Bearden High School. From 29 yards, it is good, and Kennesaw State is ahead. Daniel Kinney, welcome to college football. Big week one of ACC Network College football we've got for you tomorrow. Pitt Duquesne kicks it off at noon Eastern, then Louisville hosting Eastern Kentucky at 3, Virginia, Coastal Carolina at 6, and we cap the day with number 16 SMU hosting East Texas A&M at 9 o'clock. Every game also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Kennesaw State has a 2-point lead on the road in Winston-Salem in week one. Low kick spinning away from Barnes, who picks it up near the 10-yard line, trying to shoot upfield and knock down at the 26. And that's where we will see Robbie Ashford and company for the first time. How about Jerry Mack and Kennesaw State? He's just the second head coach in program history, a program that played their first game at the FCS level on September 3rd, 2015. Had a tremendous run as an FCS program. Made the jump last year. Their first win ever came over undefeated Liberty. It was an incredible win for that program, and now on the road here trying to get their first ever ACC win.
And that's part of what really gravitated Jerry Mack to this role was he looked at what was happening around campus and what was happening with this team. The big win last year, investment in the program. There's no way you could say no to it.
Said he feels like it is a school and a program on the rise. Here is Barnes getting outside. Haven't seen him touch the football since early in this game, but more of the same for Chris Barnes, the speedster.
This is what we've been waiting to see, is to get Barnes on the outside. Cameron Johnson, number 12, the tight end. Look at him to the left of the screen. He's the one who makes the key block to get the edge. Allows Barnes to get outside and upfield to pick up the first down.
Ashford, quick throw out wide. Stiff arm along the sideline and steps out near the 47. That's Ty Clark, the third, agent 0 on the reception. Injury on the field. This is Barnes.
Officials timeout for an injured offensive player.
Not what they want to see out of somebody they feel like can be a really special playmaker for them this year and certainly moving forward.
Yeah, he's the deep threat guy for them. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more football.
The Houston native and redshirt freshman Chris Barnes, another one of Wake Forest playmakers, heads to the medical tent on the sideline after this jet sweep. He was a little bit slow, wanted a substitute.
It's hard to tell. It looks like he might, something with the leg there. He's patting the leg. Now, there have been some new rules on faking injuries and things, but that's one of those moments where you can just get yourself down before the ball is set to say you have an injury timeout. But for Wake Forest, we've talked at length about Claiborne being out as you get a look at him on the sidelines. If Barnes can't go, that might be both top options on offense out for the Demon Deacons.
Ashford handoff to Clark, and they've got a first down. First and 10 at the Kennesaw State 49-yard line. The lone touchdown for Wake Forest came on their first drive. Robbie Ashford using his legs. That was a tough ball to handle for Carlos Hernandez. It's another one we haven't said his name a ton, but I think they expect him to be one of their top wide receivers.
And if Barnes can't go, he might be one of the top targets there as he trots off the field. But you have to make those catches. It was a tough one. It was a low catch, but you still got to make those. As we look at what's next for the ACC, lots of good football left for this weekend. I am pumped. See some good games.
Yeah, Syracuse, Tennessee, noon Eastern tomorrow to kick things off on ABC. Ashford, long throw, and a nice job in the secondary to make that play. Bang, bang play. Jericho Washington Jr.
And they'll show you why they're high on this guy. Watch him at the point of attack, get his hand in there right as the ball's getting there to knock it down. Excellent defensive play from the young Washington. He is a stud. He is a lights-out, shut-down corner. Elite. He makes a lot of plays around the field. He's good in space, too, as a tackler. They got a good one.
Ashford kind of stepping into pressure, now escaping, looking downfield. A lot of white jerseys chasing Ashford. He's 30 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and Ashford just throws it away. Pursuit from the big Tylen Dunlap, among others.
Now, we've seen a few guys with what has looked like lower legs hammies. Some of that is dehydration. Some of that is exhaustion. So I think if you're both sides right now, given the tempo of this game, particularly on offense, you want to make sure your guys are hydrating on the sidelines, taking a break. Because guys are looking winded.
Punt is away toward Benyard, who's going to let that bounce. Great punt by Cal Joseph. Goes out at the 9-yard line. Tomorrow morning, 10 Eastern, the ACC Huddle crew will be in Clemson to get you ready for the Week 1 college football season. A 2-hour pregame show with previews, highlight featured players, and interviews that will also be available on the ESPN app.
Clemson looks like they might be pretty good this year.
Veteran quarterback, Kate Klubnik.
Strong defense. Veteran coach, of course. Lots of positive stuff happening around the ACC.
Tigers have done it their way despite the changing times in college football. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. First and 10 at the 9-yard line for Dexter Williams, who has been impressive in his Kennesaw State debut. Here comes the pressure, and Williams launches it down the sideline. Again, it goes back to the positive for Wake Forest, and it is that defense that struggled so much a season ago. But they have held Kennesaw State to just the 3 points since the opening drive.
That was a nice job by Bryant there, but we've seen Bryant in the backfield. We've seen Hazen make plays and Aiden Hall, 21. So the backers really showing up for this Wake Forest defense.
Bennett in motion, empty backfield for Williams on the design quarterback run, and Williams is spun down after he picks up 11 yards and a first down by Bryant.
This is an excellent job by Williams of taking what the defense is giving him on this. Being able to get to the outside edge to make a play. And they're back up ready to snap this football. The design QB runs is something that Kennesaw State can use more this second half, giving Williams the opportunity with the football in his hands as a runner.
Now on the ground and some space for Bennett as he gets 13 on first down, but there's a flag back near the line of scrimmage.
We've seen penalties, stall drives on both sides. Let's see what the call is.
Offense, number 56. 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
We got Jadarius Lee here, number 56. He's leading on this play. He's the one who helps him get the edge to that side. Working against Gabe. A little bit downfield. Anytime you pull some jersey there, and you can see that, it's an easy call for the officials. But we've seen both sides stall drives after building a little bit momentum with penalties.
You said it, working against the experienced Gabe Kirschke from Colorado State. Started in all 13 games last year. Had 6.5 sacks for the Rams. Fumbled the snap. Williams able to corral it, but that is a loss on first down and puts them back at the 7-yard line. We've seen miscues from both teams really halt drives.
And one of the things that, when I actually spoke to Coach Dicker, one of the things he said about his team was that they need to slow down and settle in. I think from both sides, I know they don't want to huddle on offense. I understand that that's not the MO, but sometimes adjusting it just a little bit to give your guys a second to breathe and ensure that you draw up the right play on the sidelines can be a benefit.
Quick pass from Williams and nowhere to go near the 11-yard line for Lyndon Rivard. Shot Williams was all over him.
So, Chucky, at Notre Dame, under Charlie Weiss, there would be plenty of instances where he would come to the sideline and say, everything we talked about going into today, forget it. We're changing it all. We're throwing it all out the window. Sometimes you have to do that when it's not working.
And that didn't work either. Williams taken down at the line of scrimmage. Lohavichin on the stop, and that brings up fourth down. Kennesaw State can have to punt and give Wake Forest great field position.
Now, I don't want to discredit both defenses because the defenses are playing well. They've adjusted after that first series. But offensively, the creativity piece of ensuring that you got the right guys on the field and the right call is what both sides need to do offensively. So sometimes huddling, sometimes adjusting the play, sometimes throwing out the game plan that you had coming into it can help you.
Josh Hewitt from his own 2-yard line. This is a blasted punt over the head of Hernandez. It takes a Wake Forest bounce, but that is a great punt by Hewitt. 53 yards. Kennesaw State up 2 in Winston-Salem. Kennesaw State hoping to add to the list of eye-opening victories in week one. We saw one last night, USF over 25th ranked Boise State. Jake Dickert hoping that does not happen. The new man in charge after 11 seasons with Dave Clawson as head coach, took over in 2014, led them to 7 straight bowls from 2016 to 2022, went 5-2 in those. And one thing we heard from this Wake Forest staff is the positivity there. Big play down the sideline, something Wake Forest has desperately needed. It's Karate Brinson, the Tennessee State transfer, with a flag down on the field.
Well, this is exactly what you need if you're the Demon Deacons. You see Ashford gets to the outside, an awesome throw on the money there.
Face mask. Defense, number 4. That penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic, first down.
To hit Brinson in stride. And then at the end of this, Alexander Ford, horse collar there to add to that big play. We were looking for playmakers for Wake Forest. Who was going to step up and make a play? We finally get our answer.
One of the first deep shots that we've seen Wake Forest take in this game. Brinson had a breakout year at the FCS level last year with Tennessee State. 71 grabs, 1,000 yards receiving, and 6 touchdowns.
Give him a chance, give him a chance. Now he's here. They got trips up to the top of the formation with him at the 3rd position, number 14. He's on the inside.
Ty Clark, the back with Ashford. Wake Forest star running back Damon Claiborne hasn't played since the first quarter. It's Ashford with his legs upended at the 7-yard line. Kelly on the stop for Kennesaw State.
Gaining that time, the tight end did a nice job of leading up to give Ashford some room and some space. But anytime you're within the 10-yard line, going into the end zone as the running back, I'm always, you got to give me a chance, coach. Give me the ball. Ty Clark is in. He's number 0 to the right of Ashford.
Second down for Wake Forest. Ashford on the keeper, and this is a design quarterback run, just nowhere to go. Dives forward to the 8-yard line to lose just 1 on the play. Milan Jones, one of the Owls, in on the stop.
It looked like Ashford might have had an opportunity to give that ball to Clark versus keeping it himself. It's going to bring up a 3rd down situation here. Now, we've seen all the problems as far as field goals and kicks have gone. They desperately need to get this to the end zone.
3rd and 6 at the 8-yard line. And it looks like another design quarterback run. Ashford pulled backwards awkwardly and then held up just shy of the 5-yard line. No flags on the play.
It was hard to see how he got grabbed, but he did get jerked back. A lot of bodies, a lot of white jerseys in there as well. It's probably hard to see in live action, but sets up a field goal attempt for Wake Forest.
Connor Calvert. A chip shot, not quite all the way at the left hash. From about 23 yards to retake the lead. The kick is up and splits the uprights to put the Demon Deacons on top 10-9. Let's go down to the sideline with Ashley.
Well, head coach Jake Dickert is really focused on changing the culture of this Wake Forest football program, and he's got the motto of built in the dark. We've heard it all offseason. We've heard it tonight, and he says that's really about doing the tough, uncomfortable work when nobody's watching in the weight room, the classroom, the little details of preparation he believes will lead them to success. He says, I really want to focus about making this a blue-collar toughness type program, changing the way we build champions here. He said everyone wants the spotlight, but the true growth happens in the dark.
Spent 3 full seasons as the head coach at Washington State after finishing 1 season as the interim. Went 23-20 there. And now comes all the way to Winston-Salem to try to build this Wake Forest program back to where they were in the 2017 to 2022 range.
He's excited about the ACC. He talked a lot about the conference and how strong the conference is. It also made him gravitate to this role and to this opportunity. Really trying to change the culture and change the guard here.
Moved away toward the end zone, another touchback for Caleb Carlson. It was one of the things that Dickert's offensive coordinator Robbie Zell talked about when he took this Wake Forest job with Dickert after not going to Washington State with him. He said, I remember Wake Forest when I was in middle school and high school really bursting on the scene. And this was in like the 2006, 7, 8 range. They went 28-12 over a 3-year period. They've had success here in Winston-Salem.
Well, the other piece is just the facilities, too. When you're recruiting for student athletes, they look at where they're going to be, the locker room, the weight room. That's the other thing that Wake Forest has invested in and made these coaches say this is a wonderful opportunity to come and compete.
Dexter Williams and company looking for a response. Nothing doing on the ground there. Lohavichin making the stop for Wake Forest. Kennesaw State going quickly. Another handoff up the middle. This one goes for about 5 yards for Alexander Diggs before Bryant stops him.
It is the one place that Kennesaw State has been incredible on the offensive side of the ball is running the football. They have 154 yards rushing in this game. This is another one of those pivotal third down moments. Gabriel Binyard, number 1, is the guy they like to look to in these special moments as a receiver. He's to the bottom of the screen, number 1.
That was their 32nd rush of the night, and haven't been afraid to run it on third down either. Short pass though out to Diggs in space, who's tackled by his shoestrings by Bryant, but they move the chains.
Bryant really saved a big play here, despite it being a first down. Nice job of getting Diggs down from behind. A diving shoestring tackle.
Williams in the pocket, looking downfield, one-on-one coverage, incomplete. In the direction of Tykeem Wallace, coverage by Lardarius Webb, the son of Lardarius Sr., who's spent 9 years in the NFL for the Ravens.
Webb did a nice job of staying in place there. Wallace kind of settled himself down in route. He would have kept going and kept running. He would have had a chance to get that football. But I like what we're seeing on both sides, at least taking the shot, taking the opportunity to see if they can get the football down the field.
Gerard Bullock in motion. Williams looking across the middle. Open man across midfield. A big pickup. Wallace makes the catch, and they're in Wake Forest territory. Right back to it about 5 seconds after the end of that play. Looking downfield, has a man wide open, just beyond the reach of his intended target, Jordan Jackson.
What a missed opportunity for the Owls here. They got up to the line of scrimmage and we're going fast. Look at Jackson up top. He is wide open down the field and just a little bit too much on it for Dexter Williams. He also could have got that ball up a little bit higher instead of throwing the dart. But a missed opportunity for the Owls. That would have been 6 points.
Instead, 2nd and 10 with 1:32 to play in the third quarter. Kennesaw State trying to pull off the opening week shocker against Wake Forest. Williams hands it off, nowhere to go, dragged down from behind by Langston Hardy, whose dad Kevin was a former #2 overall pick by the Jaguars back in 1996.
Yeah, his dad was a Pro Bowler too. He was a heck of a linebacker back in the day. Good to see that lineage trickle on down. But they like Langston Hardy. He is football savvy given his father, so he just is in the right place at the right time a lot. Smart, intelligent football player.
Younger brother Camden is also on this Wake Forest roster. 3rd and 10 at the 45-yard line. Empty backfield for Williams. Williams flushed out of the pocket. Going to use the legs with a flag down in the backfield. Williams picks up 15 yards, but we'll see what the call is.
Yeah, it looks like holding there on the right tackle.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
I got J.T. Pennington. And you'll see him here to the left of the screen there, number 65, grabbing cloth.
Was holding the big Dallas Afalava, who stands at 6'1", 291 pounds.
When you got a guy that size, you can't do anything but hit. Jeez.
I'd like to see you block a guy of that size.
Get out of the way.
3rd and 21, the handoff to Bennett, getting outside. Another flag comes down after a gain of about 7 yards.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Milovac here, 76 at the top of the screen there. A little bit on that at the end of that play there. Added on to Newer, defensive end for Wake Forest. Well, there's not much in the playbook when it's 3rd and forever. So in this instance, you're just trying to claw back a few yards to put yourself in position to punt. Sometimes you see teams run screen plays or even draws here.
3rd and 30, it is a draw. Williams ran into his own man and slides down for a loss of a yard. And that's going to take us to the 4th quarter. Jerry Mack and Kennesaw State giving Wake Forest all they bargained for so far. But Jake Dickert and company up 1 going to the final quarter in Winston-Salem.
Well, Coach Dickert, you told me at halftime you wanted your team to take a breath and just relax a little bit. I saw you after that quarter pretty hyped up over here with your guys. How do you feel like they responded to what you asked of them?
This is why you play the game, okay? It's a fourth quarter game. We prepared for this. We planned for this. We've trained in the dark. Like, this is the moment. Like, we got to get nasty and go get ourselves a win. And it starts at the line of scrimmage and reestablishing a run game.
And so what is the key? What are you looking for from your guys to finish this one out strong and get that win in the opener?
Defensively, we're starting to hunt up front, right? And if we can get another score, then they got to pass. We got to have to go get them, prevent the explosive play. Let's go have a big drive right here to start the quarter.
All right, Coach, thanks. Good luck.
Go Deeks.
Wake Forest will take over with the football at their own 15-yard line after the 50-yard punt by Hewitt, who's been a bit of a weapon here on the last couple punts for Kennesaw State. Robbie Ashford, his debut for Wake Forest. What do you want to see on this drive right here?
Well, you want to see some poise from the experienced quarterback. He's done a pretty good job here all game of controlling the football on his side. But I want to see him try to stretch the field a little bit. This is a moment where you can take over. One player can make a play to make a difference. I want to see him command this offense and make a big play.
Chris Barnes is back in the game for Wake Forest. Ashford takes off and gets a touch over 5 yards on the first down run, tripped up by Baron Hobson.
And that is a great sign to get Barnes back on offense for Wake Forest, because he is a weapon on the outside. He's got a matchup on the outside right now with Caleb Offord, number 2, down at the bottom of the screen.
In motion, handoff up the middle on second down, just shy of a first down for Jamario Clements. Something to keep an eye on for Wake Forest, not just tonight, but moving forward. Their star running back, Damon Claiborne, and his status for this team, as you see Garland Benyard, the brother of Gabe, down on the field.
For Kennesaw State, Benyard defensively is one of their leaders. Very instinctive.
Officials timeout for an injured defensive player.
He's done a nice job tackling in space tonight, too. Moving that head around.
Trainers tending to Benyard. You saw Jerry Mack talking to Dexter Williams on the sideline, his quarterback. Kennesaw State has ran 17 more plays offensively, but 69 for them, 52 for Wake Forest. The offenses haven't necessarily moved the ball consistently, but man, we have been at full speed since the opening kickoff.
But I like the change here now that we're seeing with Wake Forest, where they're getting in the huddle, giving themselves a chance to rest just a bit.
And they've got a first down on 3rd and short.
It might be one of the first times that we've seen Ashford under center all game.
There's going to be kids growing up today that don't know what that is when somebody goes under center.
Incredible.
What's going on here? What's the I formation?
Just incredible.
1st and 10. Ashford going to throw it. Rolling out and dumps it off to his running back, Clements. 7-yard pickup.
Nice job stretching the field here. That's an excellent first down play. Pick up 7-8 yards. Keep the momentum going.
Clements stays in the backfield. He'll receive the carry again. He's met in the backfield immediately by Jaden Kelly, the Norfolk State transfer.
He has bounced around from team to team trying to find a home, and feels like he's found one here. Excellent job coming up and making a big play to set up the 3rd down.
He came from Norfolk State, but he only spent the spring there. He played last year at Arkansas Pine Bluff, where he was all SWAC second team. His play makes it 3rd and 4. Ashford in the pocket, throwing across the middle, and it's a first down, connecting with Micah Mays Jr.
Now, this play took a while to develop. Nice job by Ashford just settling in there and allowing Micah Mays Jr. to get across the field and get open. You have to think at this point, though, Chucky, that exhaustion, tiredness on both sides, all sides, has to be starting to settle in here. They're playing fast and moving quickly.
Just under 12 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Ashford throwing quickly out wide and dragged down around the 40-yard line as Hernandez offered making the tackle. 4-yard pickup on first down. Wake Forest starting to take a little bit more of the play clock as this game rolls on. Ashford, clean pocket, stepping up now, looking for space, and he's going to run it. Knocked out very close to the first down marker, maybe just about a half-yard shy.
We saw Ashford one time go up and go under center for them to run the football, to run the short yardage. It might be something they want to think about considering moving forward, to continue to take time off the clock and methodically drive down the field. This offensive line is starting to gel, particularly this series up front. Try to lean on those big horses to get the ball down the field.
Did move the chains, 1st and 10. Ashford play action rolling out. And really great coverage downfield. Tries to sneak it into Mays along the sideline. The two options on that side were draped. Jericho Washington, one of the DBs.
Nice team coverage defense there by the Owls.
Officials timeout for an injured defensive player.
Jaden Kelly, who we just talked about moments ago, made that big play on second down, is down along the Kennesaw State sideline.
Timeout on the field.
10:35 to play in the fourth quarter. Wake Forest by 1.
Slowing the game down.
Georgia Tech looking for a big opener on the road at Colorado. As he told you, leading in that game right now. Ashford stepping up and finding an open man. Look at the soft hands of any Falai, who leads them with 4 grabs tonight and over 50 yards receiving.
What a catch. He did a nice job of turning sideways to get this football. Fingertips on the ball. He's got some strong fingertips there. That's where those finger workouts, you know, where they have those little arm things. You do those, always cap off a workout at the end. It helps. Comes in handy.
We need to get the grip strength test for you up in the booth. Handoff up the middle. Clark hit hard after a 4-yard pickup. One of the things that Jake Dickert told us about the construction of this team in the second portal window, which is in the spring, they brought 4 tight ends in.
Yeah, that was a position that, from Dickert's perspective, they needed to bolster and get solid at. They did so in that transfer portal, and Eni has been outstanding today as a blocker, and he also showing you those soft hands.
Twelfth play of the drive. Ashford over the middle. There's some soft hands too on the bullet pass caught by Mays. He's going to be just shy of a first down.
You see Christopher there, number 46 for the Owls. Mike linebacker there dropping in coverage. Because of how much passing that's happening for Wake Forest on offense, these linebackers are just jumping back in coverage as soon as the ball is snapped. And maybe some opportunities for a QB draw when you see that.
You talked about fatigue a little bit tonight. Tywan Christopher, a guy who didn't play last year, redshirted after a great senior season and state championship at Thomas County Central High School. He's a redshirt freshman out there right now, reaching forward for the first down, and I don't think he got it. Is Ty Clark again on the carry? That's going to be 4th and short, and a big play coming up here for Wake Forest.
Now we saw them get into a huddle and then put Ashford under center and do a QB draw. Philadelphia Eagles style. Let's see if they repeat.
Kennesaw State bunching up in the middle. Ashford, he didn't get there. Tries to spin out of it. Kennesaw State holds. They were all over Robbie Ashford from the beginning of that play, and a late flag comes down on the far side of the field.
And it was the center, Devin Kalani, that just got blown back. He did not move at all. He got pushed back into the backfield, and Ashford ran right into him. Tried to get outside to pick up that first down, but a big stop for the Owls.
Result of the play is that the runner was short of the line of game. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 2, 15-yard penalty. It's first down, Kennesaw State.
He's out of frustration there. You can't have that happen. I understand the frustration there in the play. But we've touched on this a little bit, just the idea of taking a timeout to ensure that you have the right play.
Media timeout.
And the right moment. We've got 8 minutes left in this game. Wake Forest clinging on to a lead, but the Owls got it on the other side.
ACC Huddle Final Score crew will have a complete wrap-up of our game, highlights, analysis, interviews with players and coaches. They'll have you covered right here on ACC Network and the all-new ESPN app. Talked about the great matchups tonight, great matchups coming up. This has been a really good matchup of Dexter Williams and Robbie Ashford, and certainly interesting for these two fan bases to get eyes on their new quarterbacks for the first time.
I think they both have been solid. I think I would grade the play solid for both quarterbacks. Neither of them have turned the ball over. Not a lot of forced things, making quick decisions. Solid performance right now for the two quarterbacks.
Williams with Bennett in the Kennesaw State backfield. The Owls looking for a shocker. Throwing into the flats, incomplete pass intended for Gerard Bullock Jr. Wasn't going to go anywhere, even if it was complete.
I know we have 8 minutes left in this game, Chucky, but this is a big moment for the Owls offensively. They desperately need a methodical drive. Not only because they're down, they haven't gotten much momentum on offense. So it feels like this is a moment where if you're going to try to stretch to get back on top in this game, you have to do it now.
When we have seen long drives, neither team seems to be able to finish them off as Bennett bounces off of one man and he's cut down at the 44-yard line. A gain of just 2 on the play and tackled by Zamari Stevenson.
And Bennett had a chance to get up the field. He opted to continue to go outside. I think he could have picked up a few more yards to make it 3rd down and manageable.
3rd and 8. Williams a little slower this time, making sure his team gets the call. And movement on the near side of the field. Gabe Benyard jumped.
Ball start. Offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
The penalties have been a problem for Kennesaw State on offense. Now, again, it's not overly surprising because it's week 1, but in big moments like this where you're trying to fight your way back on top in this game, you can't have that happen.
9th penalty on the Owls tonight. 3rd and 13 now for Williams, and whistles and a timeout. Kennesaw State.
Timeout. Kennesaw State.
Winding.
It will be 30 seconds.
And that is a costly mistake. Burning a timeout with 7:16 to play.
It is not a good look, but you have to figure out and make sure that you're in the right play for both sides. I've been impressed with Max so far in his debut with the Owls as their head coach. The running backs have been strong. We've seen multiple different guys play well. It's been a bright spot. Dexter Williams has been a bright spot. You and I had a bright spot yesterday at Timmy's Hot Chicken.
Delicious.
Delicious. Delicious.
3rd and 13 for Kennesaw State. Williams looking to run. He's hit in the backfield and dropped. Big play. Gabe Kurski.
And he's got that big club on his arm, but Kurski's going to come from the left of the screen here on the flip move and gets him down, loses the helmet. What a play by the big guy. I saw Gabe when he was at Colorado State last year, got a chance to call his game. He was making plays then, no surprise. But it continues for the big guy up front.
It's another one with a dad who played college ball at UCLA. Sister swam there. His brother Blake is a lacrosse player at Denver. Spiraling punt along the sideline. Fair caught there by Carlos Hernandez. Wake Forest trying to put this game away in Winston-Salem over Kennesaw State. ACC Network college football lineup we have for you tomorrow, starting at noon Eastern. Pitt hosting Duquesne, Louisville, Eastern Kentucky at 3, Virginia hosting Coastal Carolina at 6, and then number 16 SMU and East Texas A&M at 9 o'clock. Every game also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. 1st and 10 for Wake Forest at their own 20-yard line. A chance to put this game to bed. Quickly getting it out to the playmaker we've seen kind of in and out of the game in the second half, Chris Barnes, but they want to get him touches if he's out there.
And you can't blame him there. But this is one of those moments where, for Wake Forest, there's 6.5 minutes left in this football game. Keep the football on the ground as much as you can. I know this is a passing offense. I know they want to stretch the field, but keep that ball on the ground to run the clock out.
And they listen to you on this play, coming up about 3 yards shy of a first down with Clements. That last drive went 14 plays, 58 yards, and 6.5 minutes, but no points. We've seen a couple of those for them. Got to think that that'll be one of the focus finishing drives next week.
Definitely textbook thing to work on after week 1. Learning how to finish drives and situational football, as a lot of coaches like to mention. But Wake Forest has an opportunity to put this game away with a first down here.
5 for 14 on 3rd down tonight. 3rd and 3. Just over 5.5 minutes to play. 4 on the play clock. Ashford going to throw it. Looking downfield. Plenty of time. Wide open man is caught across the middle. And weaving toward midfield. It's a big play for Micah Mays Jr.
And Mays does an incredible job of settling down into the zone. Watch him at the middle of the screen here. He's going to come and just kind of stop and find that soft spot. Didn't move, waited for his quarterback to find him. Excellent job by the redshirt sophomore.
He's a big receiver too, 6'2", 196 pounds. Last year, 218 yards, couple scores. He is their top returning receiver from a season ago. And joined by a number of talented transfers. We talked about Barnes and Hernandez, Burkhalter, among others. 1st and 10 at the 50. Handoff and space on the left side this time. A 9-yard gain on first down for Clements.
Nice job of Clements getting outside of Antonio Stevens. The free safety came down and was supposed to protect the edge. But Clements was able to get outside of him.
41 rushes as a team for Wake Forest, 133 yards on the ground. And there's their main man, Damon Claiborne, whose status will be followed very closely by not just Demon Deacon fans, but the ACC as a whole.
Absolutely.
Their star running back injured in the first quarter of this game. Nice play, but still enough to get a first down for Clements. Tackled by Hobson quickly.
Hobson was there. A nice job by Clements of lowering that shoulder and making sure that when he got tackled, he fell forward for the first down.
Remember, Kennesaw State had to burn a timeout on their last offensive possession with the play clock winding down to avoid a delay of game penalty. That drive ended up stalling anyway, but Wake Forest is going to be able to really eat this clock. 1st and 10 at the Kennesaw State 40-yard line. Ashford handoff to Clements following his tight end for live, but not for much, maybe 3.
And you're the Owls on the other side on defense. You'd like to see at the end of these plays guys trying to strip the football, trying to knock the football out of the runner's hands to give themselves an opportunity to get the football back. I played with a guy, Tom Zibikowski was his name. He was a safety at Notre Dame, and he was the best at punching that football out at the last second, particularly in moments like this. They're going to need some of that Zibby magic.
You 2 hands as a running back right now?
Yeah, every time. Running back, quarterback, too. Anyone who's got the ball in their hands.
It's Barnes this time. Out in space on the far side. A flag comes down as Barnes is pushed out of bounds. Would have had a first down. We'll see what the call is. I think this is coming back.
Yeah, this is holding on Melvin.
Holding. Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Melvin Ciani, number 71, the left tackle. Barnes is running full speed when he gets this football. He's able to get outside, but you see the left tackle there hanging on to Garland Binyard. He got Ciani on that one. The tough part is not only does it negate a big play, but also stops the clock.
That's the offended team. Tennessee has elected for the game clock to start with the snap.
Second and 17 with 2:28 to play in the fourth quarter. 2 timeouts for Kennesaw State. And it's second and very long. They're going to throw it out to Clark in the flat, headed toward the sideline, and does a nice job to cut it back. Only gets 2 yards, but stays in bounds. And we will have a timeout for Kennesaw State.
Second charge timeout, Kennesaw State. It'll be 30 seconds.
We're continuing to see, I know we're getting towards the end of the game here, but a lot of guys huffing and puffing. This is where the cramps start to come out. So you got to make sure that even in these moments going to the sidelines that you're getting your water, you're getting your hydration.
Neither of these teams will care too much about how it happened. Just get that week 1 win.
Absolutely. You know, I understand this is early in the season for Wake Forest, but when you look at their schedule, they don't have the easiest schedule. So a lot of teams count being bowl eligible as a big win for the season. Wins like this, wins against teams early in the season, that starts to add up for later. So it's critical for Wake Forest to put themselves in position to get their first W.
They do get a chance to get rolling, though. They have 4 straight home games to start the season. 3rd and 15. The keeper for Ashford. The pursuit coming his way, and he is able to get down before the sideline to keep the clock running. They will use their final timeout. Caleb Alford on the stop, so with 2:12 left, it's 4th down.
Third charge timeout, Kennesaw State. It'll be 30 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 13 seconds.
You talked about the Wake Forest schedule. It's Western Carolina here next, and then ACC play opens with NC State and Georgia Tech. Not easy games, but you get them here at home before you go to Blacksburg on October 4th.
I mean, you look at this schedule early on, they need to get a couple of wins. They can get a couple of wins early on before getting into that schedule on the road. They'll set themselves up to have a decent season.
And you would think a team like this, with all of these new pieces, and the same goes for Kennesaw State, it's just going to trend upward from here.
Absolutely. And you have to think, too, for Wake Forest, they've got this underdog mentality because no one in the conference has really thought that they were going to turn into much. So a big win here today, I think, will bode well for their confidence moving forward.
It's an end-over-end punt, and fielded at the 16-yard line by Gabe Binyard. And that is where Kennesaw State takes over. If you're Jerry Mack and somebody told you you'd have a chance to go win it at the end of the game at Wake Forest, you'd think you would take it.
Yeah, you would take that in a heartbeat for sure, particularly on the road in an environment like this.
.207 left in this fourth quarter.
The guy who has led for them receiving, Binyard, he's got 5 catches for 103 yards. He's number 1.
Start in the slot. At the top of your screen, you can see his feet at the 13-yard line. Williams rolling to his left, looking downfield and looking for Binyard just behind him as he slipped on the turf. 2nd and 10.
And he had an opportunity there to settle down to make that a little bit of an easier catch and throw. He's been dynamic all game. I love the call, though, of giving Williams the opportunity to get out of the pocket in a bootleg. And look, there's 2 minutes left in this game. There's still time to methodically drive down the field. You don't have to overstretch yourself trying to get the ball down the field.
Williams steps up. Wake Forest converging on him. There was a late hit that came in. He gets about a yard on the play, and that brings up 3rd and 9. And
This
the 2-minute
is
timeout.
the 2-minute timeout.
Big spot on the other side. 3rd and 9 for Jerry Mack in Kennesaw State.
ACC Network College Football is presented by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Beautiful night in Winston-Salem for the home opener for the Demon Deacons. Jerry Mack and Kennesaw State, though, looking to spoil Jake Dickert's debut as head coach of Wake Forest. 3rd and 9 for Dexter Williams and company. Williams, pressure coming, incomplete pass. Dallas Afalava was in his face.
And Dallas got there in a hurry to put the pressure on Williams to force an errant throw.
This is it.
This is it. And the guy to point out here is Gabriel Binyard, number 1. He'll be in the slot. He's had a terrific game. And if I'm Dexter Williams, I hate to say forcing the football to him, but I'm certainly looking his way to try to keep this drive going.
Caught a 47-yarder earlier in this game for the biggest play of the night. Williams, pressure coming, steps out and throws a short pass that's incomplete, and Wake Forest is going to hold on.
Now, there was a lot of pressure in Williams' face to start this, but you want him to continue to look with his eyes downfield. He got nicked and didn't want to give up on the play. But excitement from Coach on the sideline. He is fired up. And what an infectious energy he had. You know, we had an opportunity to spend some time with him this week, him and his staff. And I came out of that meeting saying, you know, I wonder if I got any eligibility left. Like, can I turn the clock back to come play for this guy? Because he just has that energy about him. I'd say he's a nice mix of sort of old school mentality, the toughness, but also with the newer school stuff where you can relate to the player and get on that level. They got a nice winning coach.
There will certainly be questions about this Wake Forest offense moving forward, but we talked about the defense, who was one of the worst units in all the ACC last year. This was an impressive performance by them. They gave up one touchdown tonight. It was on Kennesaw State's opening drive. We talked about the prep that goes into this game. There's nothing on film of these players in these systems. Here they are defensively, though, after that first drive, having given up just 3 points.
You got to give Dickert credit for going and getting a veteran coach in Scott Hazelton. That was the move. Hazelton has been in this game for over 30 years as a defensive coach. He's a brilliant defensive mind, showing itself early in the season here in game one.
They first ran into each other when Dickert was a GA for Hazelton at North Dakota State. He said, when I got this job, there was one man I trust. He was my first call to bring in. And Scotty Hazelton said, it was really appealing to me because he called me and he said, go do your own thing. Go get your own staff, build your own thing.
But what a full circle moment for Hazelton, though, to have a GA, a former GA of yours, call you about a job. This goes to show you got to treat people right, build those relationships. Now you're working for them. It's awesome. But the thing he touched on with us that I think is critical is that the working relationship, understanding that you've worked with someone before and knowing what to expect makes all the difference.
Well, after a successful 11 seasons of Dave Clawson, that era is over, and the Jake Dickert era has begun in Winston-Salem with a Wake Forest win in week one, narrowly 10-9 over Jerry Mack in Kennesaw State.
Now, Chucky, when you're building a program, one of the things that coaches will always say is that the team has to learn how to win close games. This is one of those. They will build on this even though there's a lot to correct. Let's go down to Ashley with Coach.
Coach Dickert, how does it feel to get your first win as head coach of the Demon Deacons?
Well, it isn't about me, it's about these players. You know, we win as a team, we lose as a team. You know, it isn't just the defense winning this game, it's the Deacs being 1-0. That was the mission coming in. We found a way to make it happen, and we will be a better team next week because of this game.
You talk so much about all the things you're doing behind the scenes, built in the dark, your motto, your mantra for this team. You had to face a lot of adversity in week one. What does the way this team responded say about who they are?
Well, I just say good. You know, our captain, Nick Anderson, before he went out at halftime, said adversity's here. We knew it was coming. Who are we right now? Right? That defines this team, and I mean it. From 7 days from today or 8 days, we're going to be a better football team because of this challenge. I give credit to Kennesaw State for coming out here and having a hell of a game plan.
All right, Coach, congrats on your first win.
All right, go Deacs. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. One thing for Kennesaw State, impressive, but Wake Forest getting the job done tonight. We talked about the offensive questions. They did it without their star running back, Devon Claiborne.
They found a way to win, and that's what good teams do. You fight through adversity to be able to make it happen for you. This is a big-time win for Coach Dickert and his staff. And here's the thing. With this being year one, we've seen teams turn it around. We saw it at IU last year where they turned it around in 1 year. It's certainly possible. This is one of those building blocks for the Deacons.
Wake Forest wins it 10-9 over Kennesaw State in Winston-Salem. For Darius Walker, Ashley Stroline, Scott Snyder, Brett Lancaster, and our entire crew, I'm Chucky Kemp. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Enjoy week one, 5 straight days of college football. Let's go to ACC Huddle final score with Kelsey Riggs-Cuff and the guys.